Imagine a little girl, barely 5 years old, sitting for hours inside her family's henhouse. She wasn't frightened or bored, she was waiting to solve the mystery of how a chicken lays an egg. Most children would have given up in minutes, but not Jane Goodall. That quiet patience would one day change the way the world understands animals, and even ourselves. Jane was born in London in 1934, but her childhood unfolded in Bournemouth, England. From the beginning, nature called to her. She gathered worms in the garden, climbed trees to watch birds, and often brought tiny creatures home, to her mother's gentle amusement. Her mother, Vanny, wasn't like other parents. When Jane vanished into the henhouse and emerged hours later, instead of scolding, Vanny simply listened as Jane breathlessly explained her discovery. That encouragement, rare for girls at the time, allowed Jane's curiosity to flourish. Jane's love of animals was also shaped by books. She devoured animal stories, but her favorite was Tarzan of the Apes. She later confessed she was a little jealous of Tarzan's Jane. "He married the wrong Jane," she would joke. Even as a child, Jane dreamed of Africa, imagining a life among wild animals. For most girls in the 1940s, such a dream would have been impossible. But Jane was different. After finishing school, Jane couldn't afford university. Instead, she worked as a secretary and waitress, saving money for a long voyage. In 1957, her determination paid off. With enough savings, she set sail for Kenya, fulfilling the dream she had carried since childhood. Africa changed everything. There, she met the renowned anthropologist and archaeologist Louis Leakey, who was searching for someone to study wild chimpanzees. Leakey wasn't looking for a traditional scientist. He wanted someone patient, open-minded, and unafraid of the unknown. He saw all of that in Jane. Armed with little more than binoculars and a notebook, Jane Goodall arrived at Gombe Stream National Park in 1960. She was just 26. At first, it was lonely and frightening. She was often alone in the forest, her camp a small tent by the lakeside. The chimpanzees, shy and cautious, fled whenever she approached. Days turned into weeks with no progress. But Jane refused to give up. She would climb to the ridge, watch the chimps from afar, and slowly, quietly, allow them to get used to her presence. Then came the breakthrough. One chimpanzee, a gentle male she named David Greybeard, began to accept her. He allowed her to come closer, even to share his food. This was the opening Jane needed. Through David, other chimps began to trust her too. What Jane discovered in Gombe shook the scientific world. At the time, it was believed only humans used tools. But Jane watched David Greybeard strip the leaves off a twig and use it to fish termites out of a mound. This was proof of tool-making. When she reported the discovery, Louis Leakey famously said, "Now we must redefine tool, redefine man, or accept chimpanzees as humans." Jane also saw chimps hunt monkeys, revealing they were not strictly vegetarian, as once thought. She noted their affection, mothers embracing infants, friends grooming each other, siblings playing. But she also saw darker behaviors, aggression, even violence within groups. What made Jane's research so groundbreaking wasn't just the discoveries themselves, but the way she approached them. Scientists traditionally numbered their subjects. Jane gave them names: David Greybeard, Flo, Fifi, Goliath. She showed the world that animals were not mere data points, but individuals with personalities, emotions, and family bonds. By 1963, the world began to notice. National Geographic sent photographer Hugo van Lawick to Gombe to document Jane's work. His photographs and films captivated millions. Hugo and Jane soon fell in love and married in 1964. For a time, they lived in Gombe together, raising their son, nicknamed Grub, in the very heart of the forest. In the 1970s, Jane's mission began to shift. She saw the threats facing chimpanzees: deforestation, poaching, and habitat loss. Instead of staying in the forest, she stepped onto the world stage. In 1977, she founded the Jane Goodall Institute, which became a leading voice for conservation. Later, she created Roots and Shoots, an education program that empowers young people across the globe to take action for animals, people, and the environment. Today, it operates in more than 100 countries. Jane didn't only speak about science, she spoke about hope. She often reminded audiences that each individual has the power to make a difference, no matter how small.
talked about all these things, and they became increasingly shocked and eventually decided, well, they would like to do something about some of these things themselves, since governments weren't and the schools weren't. And so we started a sort of club, and they went back and got some friends involved. And that's how it began, very simply. And because the chimpanzee was always, in a way, linking humans with the rest of the animal kingdom, right from the beginning it was, well, choose projects that will help people, help animals, help the environment we all share. 3 different kinds of project. And it didn't grow very fast, but then suddenly it began to take off, like the mid-90s. And it's now in 126. We talked about all these things, and they became...
Behind her achievements, Jane carried her own challenges. She suffered from prosopagnosia, or face blindness, a condition that makes it hard to recognize human faces. Yet remarkably, she could identify every chimpanzee she studied by subtle differences in posture, movement, or voice. And while her career seemed extraordinary, it came at personal cost. Her marriage to Hugo ended after a decade, though they remained friends. She later remarried, but was widowed young. Through it all, Jane's work never slowed. Over the decades, Jane Goodall transformed from a shy young observer in the forest to one of the most respected voices for wildlife and the planet. She proved that science could be rooted in compassion. She reminded humanity that we are not separate from nature, but part of it. And she inspired millions, scientists, activists, school children, and ordinary people to act with courage and kindness. Today, when people think of chimpanzees, they think of Jane Goodall. And when they think of hope for the earth, they hear her words. Every individual matters. Every individual has a role to play. Every individual makes a difference. Jane once said that her favorite sound was the pant-hoot call of the chimpanzees echoing through the forest. That sound symbolized home, discovery, and connection. Though she is gone, her voice remains, reminding us to protect, to care, and to believe that even the smallest actions can change the world. Her life was not just about studying chimpanzees. It was about teaching humanity how to be human.